Well, it's been a one-sided game, of course, but take nothing away from Nepal, who have been doing a splendid job on the back of a win against the mighty India, and showing why they can be potential winners in this match. They've shown class and pizzazz in their play, with their passing, their shooting, the manner of which the goals were scored as well, especially that second goal.
It will be a drop ball. Abdullah's pass to Royson Bright. This time on the ball is Royson again. Now ball with Unesh, the goal scorer. Going forward now is Lachu. Lachu trying to find a long range effort once more. Just scraping the top of the goal post here.
Yeah, might have taken some paint along with it, that ball. Almost finding their way into that third goal, Nepal.
Very, very sloppy sometimes.
Well, what Sri Lanka need here is someone who can control the midfield and get some tempo into their game, because it seems like the opening 30 minutes of this game has been very one-sided because of that midfield battle. It has been Prashant Laksam and Lachu Thappa. Here is another chance for Nepal, and it's a goal for Nepal. He has fizzed that into the net. Subhash Bam, with your pardon, take a bow, son. Wonderful technique. Nepal 3, Sri Lanka 0.
Once again, all I see is the left back of Sri Lanka on that instance had to make sure the cross doesn't come in. At any cost, he had to make sure the cross doesn't come in. But he almost easily lets the cross come in, and Subhash, even in front of the two centre backs, Subhash really taking the shot. Both centre backs not really coming and closing down. These are small things that Sri Lanka can change to be better in defence. Because when you know that a guy really is getting ready to shoot in front of your box, you close in.
Yeah, textbook stuff, Jana, really. And Nepal at this point must be thinking it's practice matches here. Maybe a practice game for the final. Do not write Sri Lanka off. Sri Lanka, a nation of comebacks, but can their under-17 national football team try and carve their way into this? One goal could do in this first half, but if one goal goes to the blue side, then it could spell the end of this tournament run. You see here on screen, substitution coming on. Looks like it's number 20, Mohammad Sadir, will be coming on for the Sri Lankan Lion Cubs. Sri Lanka not finding that final pass.
Now going forward for Nepal, Prashant finding Unesh. Unesh's pass not really getting through to the teammate. Unesh once more on the ball. Now through the right side, Unesh once more trying to get on the ball here. Atif Ahmed's pass to Yasir. Vitushigan. Through ball. Ball with Nepal now. Nice passing here from Nepal. Lachu. Lachu's back pass to Semantha. Another pass from Lachu here. Lachu really given a free role. Seems like he's playing in left back, midfield, almost everywhere. A player who has been given the freedom to get into places, and there goes the change coming in. Vitushikan out, and in goes number 20 of Sri Lanka, Mohammad Sadir.
Yeah, the coach Aruna Sampath signaling that he really needs an injection of enthusiasm and motivation into this squad. So he's brought on Mohammad Sadish, looks to, beg your pardon, Mohammad Sadir, who looks to be taking a midfield role here.
I'm pretty sure it was Vitushikan who was playing on that left back role. So he was almost a weak in position. Most of Nepal's attack has been coming through that channel. So he is being substituted out. Maybe some other player replaces him, and Sadir takes the midfield position here.
Yeah, but like you said, Jana, the sweeper is still present there. Looks like number 2, that's Mohammad Abdullah. He's the sweeper, has taken on that sweeper role, and he's been doing quite well, but it also comes with its risk. Like you said, Nepal can evade that offside trap and try and score another goal through a through ball or a similar ball to that.
Yeah, rightly told, Kavinka. That's what is the threat. Easily he can be almost 1-on-1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3 if the Nepalese defense really break through the initial front 4.
Nepal playing some beautiful football here. Is Prasanth Laksam going for kick, but be kicking himself to some extent, but not too hard, because Nepal are in the lead 3-0 quite comfortably, and he also contributed to one of those goals.
I think they can afford to take those chances now, Nepal, especially in the driving seat. They
Definitely.
can try anything as they want.
Definitely, Jana.
And doing some keepy uppies there. Number 20 of Sri Lanka. Sadir, I should say, Mohammad Sadir, who just made his way in. Long ball once again, kept out. Now in goes Nishant. Nishant's through ball, trying to find Subhash. But Mohammad Riaz comes out, and that's the job here for Sri Lanka. Already 3 goals down, a very, very uphill task. Sadir once more on the ball. Foul here by Harish of Nepal.
So we are 9 minutes away from halftime, and halftime could not come sooner for Sri Lanka. They have a chance to regroup now, courtesy of a free kick on the halfway line. Have to make something tick, otherwise it'll look like a really one-sided game, as it wasn't already. Nepal, Prasanth Laksam trying to counter. And a loose ball is played through. Nepal is through. Keeper comes out. Nepal, can they finish this? And it's a wonderfully driven goal. Keeper in no man's land. And it's number 11, Niraj. Niraj, of course, one of the goal scorers in the previous game. Some lovely skill there, and a wonderful finish to evade 3 players. And there's no wonder that Nepali players are in dreamland right now. And they could be heading towards the summit of the final, Jana.
Yes, rightly told. It is almost no way back for Sri Lanka. 4 goals within the first half. But there was a game in the recently concluded Four Nations tournament which was held in Sri Lanka where Bangladesh scored 4. Sri Lanka was 4-0. Then Wasim Rasik scoring 4 goals. So on Sri Lankan soil, Sri Lanka coming back has happened. 4 goals have been scored again. But that is a senior team.
Yeah, Sri Lanka have to summon a Wasim Rasik over here. With those kinds of balls, it doesn't look like they can. But summoning a Wasim Rasik in this squad. Go ahead, one of you 11 in white. Go ahead and do it. Prove all of us wrong.
Sadir. Sarath Kumar. Through ball here, but the flag goes up.
Well, maybe to the delight of the Sri Lankan fans, that would have offered a glimpse of hope. Here's a wonderfully threaded ball into the path of Harish, gets in the cross. Number 12, another shot on target, but it's a team effort. Easy pickings for Mohammad Rihas, who has been tested so many times in this tournament and in this game. Here is Nepal once again. They get a corner out of it.
What's really shocking here is the way Nepal getting into those areas behind either of the flanks. Because Sri Lankan left back and right back really, for some reason, letting those wingers to get behind them. And all they had to do is put some crosses in.
Here's another attempt by Nepal.
Not done here, Nepal. Once more, cross coming in. But this time, not really accurate enough. So as I was talking about, these two fullbacks coming forward, they aren't even coming forward, but for some reason, because of that sweeper, these two players for Nepal really using those area behind, and the left and the right winger getting into those areas, putting those nice juicy crosses. All the striker have to do is to finish it off. So that is how the game plan is for Nepal. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka trying to come forward, but quite above the goal post.
That's a good sign. The first real attack by the Sri Lankan outfit. Chances like that are few and far in between, and you have to take those chances, especially if you haven't worked the Nepali keeper Krishal Mokhtan, who of course hasn't had much to do in this game compared to his previous game, which was against India. Even in that he scored just one. Here is Sri Lanka looking to make amends, whisker away from the goal. But it is encouraging stuff for Sri Lanka. Sadhu Tatsara, a left-footed strike, not really worrying the keeper, but it did ripple the goal.
I think we already mentioned his name, Sadhu Tatsara, the man that looks promising always when he gets on the front foot. He has to really fed with lots of balls. Now all midfielders want to do, or all midfielders have to do here, is to feed ball to Sadhu Tatsara. Because he is really making those daring runs. He's very good with pace. He's very good with his finishing. So midfielders just go and pass the ball to Sadhu Tatsara.
Yes, Sadhu Tatsara looks like the target man at this point, and I don't think you can blame the defense or the Sri Lankan players for that. Krishal coming out to feed the ball into his teammate. He's number 22, Subhash Bam, the goal scorer of the third goal. Shan Laksan again. Bam. Here's Nepal once again, but easily into the hands of Mohammad Rihas.
Once again, Sri Lanka going forward this time, courtesy of Mohammad Sadir.
Well, Jana, being a former football player yourself, probably at even school level,
Maybe a little bit, I wouldn't say as a footballer, maybe playing some part-time football, yes.
of course, football is football. But what would you say to your players, especially when you face a 4-0 deficit like this?
I think it really depends on the intention. Now, if Sri Lanka's coach is to really limit his damage and all he wants to do at the moment is to make sure they don't concede more goals or lose with some sort of respect, maybe he can opt for a defensive kind of shape here and then go into occasional counter-attacks. But if you feel that, okay, take a bit of risk, maybe even if we concede one goal, we might have the chance of getting another couple, then I'd say they have a front three, and first thing I'll do is to take the sweep out. I'll take the sweep out and make sure he plays in the midfield. So 4-3-3 would be a very...
Confirmation of 4 added minutes to this first half.
So 4-3-3 formation would be quite good. Now even the modern day football teams really playing with a 3-5-3, where the two fullbacks playing almost as a midfielder. So these are very attacking formations, but you still, these players are kids here. You can't really just go and change the formation or the way they play in one match. So it takes time. These are stepping stones. These are learning curves for this young upcoming Sri Lankan side. So the more they play these kind of important matches, international matches where they are being given with so much of exposure, that is how they improve. So let's see how they improve in the second half. Meanwhile, another 3 minutes remaining. Nepal really fluid on their passing here. Now ball with Prashant. Prashant's pass to Mohammad Sadir. Sadir does some dribbling.
Sri Lanka has been seeing a good portion of this position in the past 5 minutes or so, Jana. That will be encouraging. It's not something that they can take as a massive step. However, given the circumstances, they have been very poor on the ball, but some things like this position for more than maybe 2 minutes. Here is Bam again, Subhash Bam, can he finish this? He's taken down, calls for a penalty, but the referee says no doing. Sri Lanka come away with another one. Another let off for Sri Lanka. It could have been going into halftime, Jana. It could have been maybe 6-0, 7-0.
Sri Lanka a bit lucky. The scoreline stays 4. And on that instance, that was the captain, Saad Kumar. Again, long shot. Straight in the Nepalese keeper, Krishal. Pass coming from Nepal, playing from the back, very comfortable. You can already see their body language. It's not really in a very stiff or a tensed manner, very casual on their game, Nepal.
Here's a replay of that foul. Number 18, Harish.
Once again, Semanta's pass. There you see Nepal really passing amongst themselves, and there you go.
And it is halftime here at the Racecourse Stadium. Well, Nepal is home to Mount Everest, and they have just given Sri Lanka a mountainous task here. It's Nepal 4, Sri Lanka 0.
Had a question, can the Lions scale the mountains? It looks like it's too much of an ask. It's 4 goals for Nepal against Sri Lanka before the half-time. Sri Lanka come back into this game would really need a miracle.
Well, it has been a one-sided game, Jana, as you can see here. The goals, Mohammad Riha is not doing any help to his team by fumbling that effort, and Laksam putting away that penalty quite easily. Then came the second goal 3 minutes later. It was number 18, Harish, scored that. Your pardon, number 15, Unesh, who scored that goal, and then it was fizzed in by number 22, Subhash Bam. And then, quite close to halftime, a moment of brilliance by the number 11, Niraj Karki, as we see the full moon, and Nepal have put an illuminating performance here at the Racecourse grounds in that first half.
Nepal shines as brightly as that lights and the moon. So at the end, it's Nepal 4, Sri Lanka 0. And the goal scorers in this match. There you go, Prashant Laksham, Harish Rajbata, Subhash Ram, and Niraj Karki. And yellow card for Mohammad Abdullah. And that's all we have in the first half. We'll join you again in 15 minutes of time with the live action, the second half. Sri Lanka and Nepal making their way out. So Kavinga, there's a change already. Number 8 coming off, number 17 going in for Nepal, and number 20 going in, number 9 going out as well. Now, Mohammad Mufa starts off for Sri Lanka.
Well, Nepal is known for their beautiful scenery and high peaks, including that of Everest, which is 8,848 meters, Jana. But it seems like Nepal have given the Lion Cubs here a mountainous task.
Yeah, not only that, even the number 4 looks like mountain as well.
Definitely a towering figure.
Here we go, Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka seems to be on the front foot here. It's a bit of a cagey game going there. His number 7 was Sadhu Tatsara, trying to fight for his life to get that ball. There was 4 defenders around him. You could see just how much Nepal do not want to concede here.
I think Sri Lanka did end in a high note. I wouldn't say a high note, but definitely better than how they started. So Sadhu Tatsara, the target man for Sri Lanka. If they can get the ball to Sadhu Tatsara every now and then, Sri Lanka does have the chance to get back at least 2-3 goals here, maybe a 4.
What do you think the boys would have heard from Aruna Sampath in the first half, or rather at the end of the first half, Jana, when Sri Lanka headed into the dressing room?
I think Aruna would have been definitely not happy with the performance, and would have really asked his players to put their souls in, because you are playing for your country, irrespective of what level, what age. At the end of the day, you are playing for the country. So definitely he would have just made or reminded them that, which is quite a good way of boosting your players up. Playing for the country, playing for the batch is always a prestigious thing.
There was wonderful interplay there by Nepal, but that interplay did not deserve the shot it needed. But Nepal come again for the upteenth time in this match. Well, as you mentioned in the first half, Sri Lanka as a team, never mind a national, under 17 national side, their national team around a year ago did see 4 goals being conceded. There's a foul there by the number 19 left back, Mohammad Fatim, and a card comes out for him.
And definitely because it was Niraj's chance to really break down the opposition and almost went in to the box. So a tackle coming on very, very late. Very rightly called yellow card there for Mohammad Fatih. There you go. Almost broke through. The next move would have been to find one of the strikers.
They're taking down the danger man, number 11, Niraj has been a bright spark in this tournament so far, getting 2 goals to his name. Goal in the previous match and a goal in this match as well. Number 3. Will it be Deepak or will it be Harish?
In fact, it was Harish, the goal scorer in the last half, because Unesh was shown as a goal scorer, but it was in fact Harish who scored the goal, and the ball gets a deflection. Looks like it's a corner for Nepal. Trying for a long shot here. Harish skipping. But ball now won by Sri Lanka, trying to go on the counter. Once again, not enough support to go on a counter. At least you need about 3-4 men to motor forward in terms of getting a successful counter, mostly. Now ball with Niraj. Niraj's pass going on to Deepak. Deepak's pass going in. Nepal getting another goal. Easy as ever for Nepal. And that's the 5th goal. Almost looks like no turning back from here on. Very, very good goal coming from Unesh. This time it's Unesh, of course. There you go.
Ramro Nepal, Ramro. What they would say in the Nepali language.
That's his 3rd goal of the tournament. Unesh Budadoki.
Excellent work there by the number 3, Deepak Thapa, finding his midfielder Unesh. But Sri Lanka look to be out of this game, and maybe anyone can say that it is true, but Sri Lanka would need a miracle to come back from this game, from this point. Even this mountainous task of coming back 5 goals down. But to even score 1 goal for Sri Lanka does look like an uphill task, Jana.
Yeah, rightly told. At least for the fans, for the people who have turned here, just give something. A goal would really put some smiles on their face. To play with pride, even though it looks like you already know the result, but still Sri Lanka would try and minimize the gap of the defeat. Nicely done here. Pressing hard. Nepal easily press resistant. Deepak on the ball. Now ball with Ashwin. Through ball trying to find Subhash. Now Sri Lanka on the counter. Good ball. Nice here for Sri Lanka. But once again, first touch not the best. Mohammad Bufas. Sadira. Pass coming from Fatih. Long shot taken. Almost testing the keeper. But Krishal not really tested on that instance.
We have an injury to the Nepali number 20, as you see here, an attempt by Sri Lanka. Real hopeful one, really. Number 20 requiring some attention. And there is a substitute, the goalkeeper. Not common,
Rubin Bugatti making his way in for Krishal, maybe seeing the legs for the finals.
Definitely legs and hands, Jana, because of course the goalkeeper would want to be fit. And with the new rule of 5 substitutions in the modern game, Anil Tamang, the head coach of Nepal, has taken steps to now secure his team, give them some safety going into the final. Well, if they do make it to the final, and it looks like they most likely will, it'll be a replay of the last edition of the SAFF Under-17 Asian Games, India versus Nepal. However, that was played 7-0 back in 2019. But this time it doesn't look like it will be a whitewash. Or, to be fair, it won't be an avalanche for the Nepali boys, because they did beat India in the previous game. Nepal have done really well here, Jana. Take nothing away from them, despite this poor performance by the Sri Lankan Lion Cubs. There was another attempt there to go and find their 6th.
Indians really watching this match so closely, would base their tactics on some of this gameplay. Okay, in case Nepal and India do make it to the final, who do you think is the more dangerous team?
There was another attempt there for Niraj. Chance, a sight of goal. But Jana, to answer your question, well, I don't think you can look at the previous match and say that it was, or rather it is going to be an affair like that, because India were good today, especially when they woke up in this. Here's another wake-up call for Sri Lanka. Miscued by the Nepali left back was Deepak Thapa on the end of that. Well, the number 6 for Sri Lanka has been a sacred number, especially over the weekend. We saw the netball team winning their 6th trophy, the Asian trophy, and we saw the Sri Lankan national team, the cricket team, win their 6th Men's Asia Cup. But to see 6 goals here at the Racecourse Stadium would be horrible for all the Sri Lankan fans and Sri Lankan football followers.
Nepal just taking their own time to build up and then go for the kill here. Here we go. A back pass. And early on we saw that pressing game from Sri Lanka now really fading off. No one pressing, no one really trying to get to the ball. Oh, you can already see the body language. Not the best here.
Well, we might be 13 minutes into this second half, and of course, Jana, it will be really unfair to say that Sri Lanka deserves to lose here, but where now from here for Sri Lanka football, especially this under-17 team?
Trying to skip past here. And I think definitely Kavinka, as I already told, these are kids, but they are almost like raw diamonds. Once you start polishing them, once you start just giving the right treatment, they can become those valuable stones. So I think this under-17 is a very good level to start off with. Yes, under-15, under-13 is quite good, but under-17 is where you actually try to understand the tactics. Under 13, under 15, you mostly focus on how the game is played in terms of the technique. But by this time, the players are already almost good with their technique. All they have to do is to know when to make the runs, when to really mark, when to get back. So these are things that they can learn from this age onwards. So I think even though Sri Lanka are on a losing streak here, this is a very good learning curve, and with very good guidance and also very good training, this team, this bunch of players, many of these players can definitely represent the senior team as well.
Definitely, and what most people would be saying is that the Sri Lanka teams really need to be exposed to many more international tournaments, especially as of this nature, because they may get thrashed like this, or even they may come up with their own wins or draws, but whatever the result may be, they do have that exposure. And here is number 15, Rizli Mohammed, getting some exposure onto the field. And it's number 8, Fazul Rahman. He's had a quiet game as his other teammates have in this match. But coming back to my point, Jana, it'll be good to see how these players, how they manage pressure when they are playing in international tournaments such as these. Because, all right, national setup might be fine, but you need to expose your players to an international setting. Maybe have more friendly matches, some training camps abroad. Of course, it's something that Sri Lanka national team does. Not long ago, they made their trip to Qatar for a training camp over there. But it's things like that. It's things like maybe recruiting some high-level, top-class, maybe foreign coaches, and trying to mold them into the players that they can be, because there is potential. So we have seen a few glimpses of potential here from Sri Lanka. Pressure applied there on Krishal, but easy stuff there for Nepal.
Now to the right flank. Miss pass, almost a luck in disguise here. Now Nepal's number 3, Deepak, cannot keep the ball in. Will be a throw for Sri Lanka. And a very happy camp here, the Nepalese camp. Urjan Shrestha, a very, very delighted man here. Especially now, almost knowing that his team has kept one foot onto the finals here. Just have to hold on for another 30-odd minutes, and they'll play India in the finals. Subhash once more trying to dribble, but just too much of dribbling going on. The first time he dribbled, he should have gone forward.
Yeah, Subhash Bam, of course, firing that goal in for his first and only goal so far in this match. Trying to make a fool out of the left back for Sri Lanka, Mohamed Abdullah. Mohamed Abdullah has been omnipresent in this game, but of course, like him and his other teammates, have been out of it as well. Mohamed Abdullah was playing that sweeper role, Jana, as you mentioned. It doesn't look like it was paying off any dividends in that first half. Seems like Sri Lanka have taken off that sweeper role, but it still looks like Mohamed Abdullah is in the midst of that centre-back line. It looks like they've taken a 3-5-2 approach to this.
Yeah, I think this should have been a bit early on.
Looking at the pitch now, it looks like the Sri Lankans have taken a 5-3-2 approach.
Yeah, but
Maybe
still Abdullah dropping back and playing the sweeper role, I think something. You can see he's not really maintaining the line along with the others.
Yeah, not to be critical about this gameplay for Sri Lanka, but too many Sri Lankan players are just maybe 10 meters apart from each other. That is exactly not what you would want as a coach. Aruna Sampath would be furious if he sees that his players are 10 meters apart, especially in that back line, that defense, because it opens up space, especially on the wings, for Sri Lanka to come through. Here's a chance, but both players are offside.
And I see Nepal really showing how the offside trap is to be worked on. And Kavinki, you know why the wingers have been very threatening to Sri Lanka today? Because of the sweeper today. Because sweeper dropping back and making sure the other wingers, the opposite wingers, have enough space to break down the left back and the right back, or the left wing back or the right wing back, whatever you call in the system. So that is why the wingers have been able to make an impact in this game. So the sweeper really hurting Sri Lanka at the end.
Yeah, Jana, of course, especially when you are the host nation, you have to come up with something pretty good. And it's fair to say that Sri Lanka have been very under par in this tournament. They conceded 5 goals in their first game, and it was a lone goal that got them through into this semi-final. But like I mentioned on Friday for the 3:30 p.m. kickoff, it was India versus Nepal, mentioned that whoever wins this match does get the easiest of, or the easier of the two when it comes to Bangladesh and Nepal, rather Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. It seems like, judging by the scoreline, here is Niraj trying to float across in and makes a horrible attempt to cross that ball in.
A bit overhit at the end. Sri Lankan fans still passionate. Even they do know the result. They are backing the team and just showing the team that they are behind them, not to worry. Yes, you can lose a match. You can learn a lot from it, especially in the under-17 circuit. These are instances where they can take lots of experience out of it.
Most definitely. That was number 15, Rishi Mohammed, trying to pick up the scraps from that play from Nepal. Chances like that are far and few in between. But of course, the Nepali boys are also human, so they can make mistakes. But with a little more than 20 minutes remaining, you could wonder if they would make any mistakes like that. Maybe 5 golden mistakes for Sri Lanka's liking.
Once again, the wingers coming into play because of the offside trap not really working here.
Here's Niraj on the ball. Number 11, pacey winger. Opts to go back.
Now on the ball is Deepak. Passes it on to Ashwin. Simanta. Simanta again. Goes for a crossfield pass on the right side. Cleared off by the Sri Lankan defense on that instance. Mohammad Riaz. Not a great game for him today as well.
Here's Daxon on the ball. Number 3, Deepak. Niraj. Dribbling away from 1, 2. Almost finding his way past the third defender. Taking a tumble there. Niraj and it's Abdullah, we believe. Referee calling for medical attention. Player on the ground.
Abdullah almost putting his body on the line.
We see that attempt again. Abdullah putting his entire life savings on that challenge. Trying to stop that third goal. And now receiving some medical attention.
Another change coming in for Nepal. Number 12 going out. Number 9 coming in. Nishant being replaced here by Sijal Rai. Sijal comes in. Nishant goes out.
Nishant has had a good game in midfield. Of course, he and his other teammates have put up a 5-star performance. Of course, no pun intended when it comes to the scoreline.
This is what you call a high-five performance with a 5th goal
Definitely.
coming from Nepal. Do you think there's more goals in this game?
Definitely, by the looks of it, Jana, of course. They'll be wanting to inflict that 6th goal. I think they would have a 6th sense for this next goal. One-touch passing here. It's lovely to see. Here's Niraj passing it on to his centre-back, Samantha Thapa. 15. Dinesh. Is number 3, Deepak.
Once again, now this time, Binod, I should say, through the left flank, putting a shot, long shot coming in from Nepal, but also a good block from the Sri Lankan counterpart.
Looking for a counter attack here, Sri Lanka, courtesy of their number 15, Rizni Mohammed.
So let's talk about the final. I think it's now safe to talk about the final, but still football is a funny game. But stranger things have happened, considering the scoreline stays the same. So now India would take on Nepal if the scoreline is or stays like this. Do you think we would see almost a similar game to what we saw in the last match versus India versus Nepal? Or is it going to be a bit different? What do you think?
Well, the way India played today, they have shown that despite them not getting a good start into the game, that they can come back through glimpses of magic. We saw that Gangte fired in 2 goals, one which was purely, simply beautiful strike, Jana, but that second goal was well calculated, courtesy of his captain, Guite, who assisted him. So with goals like that, and when you have goals coming in like this for Nepal, it's going to be a tight game on Wednesday, on the 14th.
You're rightly told. And which team do you think coming? Any team that you'd say tactically superior, or any team that you'd say individual brilliance? Now, every team, say for example, a team like Real Madrid, yes, it's very, it's a bit, not on the same place to talk about the under-17s in the Real Madrid, but Real Madrid team, more than tactics, they rely on individual brilliance with their players. So, how do you look at these two teams? Would you classify them into a tactically superior team, a team like Manchester City, or team with so much of individual brilliance?
Well, I saw this quote once by one of the football pundits on TV saying that France won the tournament simply because they had a better team. Now, if you take Belgium, you have star-studded players Romelu Lukaku, Eden Hazard, and Kevin De Bruyne. course, they are great players and you need star
They have
players,
the
of
better
course.
keeper as well, Thibaut Courtois.
Better keeper as well, Thibaut Courtois. And you might pick that team any day of the week, Jana, any day of the year. But when you're talking about a tournament-based team, a league, then you have to think about how your team gels. Of course, France won the World Cup without their star striker, Benzema. Here is Niraj coming in. Can they score the third goal? Looks like a foul was made by Niraj in the build-up to that play. But of course, coming back to that conversation, France did not have their star striker, Karim Benzema. But they did have a team. And that team ultimately won the World Cup. Someone like Brazil, who had Neymar, probably in his prime, Marcelo, Coutinho, but they didn't have a star striker. So you could argue that maybe here's a ball through for Nepal. And it looks like there is a foul on the edge of the box.
Once again, it's Abdullah, is it? Came into the challenge. Luckily for Sri Lanka, not another penalty.
Looks like Abdullah was the perpetrator in that instance. And it is... Yes, it does seem like a clear penalty. If we had the video assistant review, the VAR, here at the SAFF Under-17 Championship, that would have been called for a penalty.
I think the Nepalese won't really complain considering how they are already winning and going into the finals, but still, it looked like the challenge came inside the box.
Yeah, the referee Alamgir seeing that it was outside the penalty area, but here we see it was clearly inside the penalty area. Sri Lanka and Mohamed Abdullah lucky to not make this 6 goals against them. As we see here, number 22 Subhash Bam, one of the goal scorers, requiring medical attention. It's not looking good for him, so he'll have to be stretchered off. He's had a great game. Subhash Bam struck that third goal into the net. And his interplay, taking one in the chest. Yeah, he clattered into Mohamed Abdullah and straight into the chest. It's going to be painful, that. So he'll have to be stretchered off and will be requiring some medical attention before anything else can be done. Of course, a substitution will come on for Nepal. Still receiving confirmation on who it will be. But we have been informed that Nepal have used all 5 of their substitutes and they will have to continue this game with 10 men. Not that they would complain too much, but an injury to Subhash Bam, especially with one foot firmly in the final, could spell trouble for Nepal. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he gets better soon. But for now we have Nepal looking to make it 6. It's the number 4. The captain on the field, Sema Tatapa.
He has to take the ball above the wall and then try to dip it in. Quite hard technique, to be honest.
Or he could take the underground route. Let's see what happens. It won't be Sema Tatapa who takes this. Instead,
Vinod still trying to strike, but then going above the goalpost at the end.
Trying to be a bit witty there, Vinod, by attempting an audacious chip. But yes, there are 10 men now on the field for Nepal. Not sure if Sri Lanka have noticed that yet.
Sometimes substituting all your 5 players before about the 75th minute is risky, but Nepal now, I don't think they'd be really concerned, considering how 5 goals with 10 minutes for Sri Lanka to get. It's a very, very uphill task, almost ironically like scaling the Himalayas or the Everest.
Of course, Shana. Apologies if we've made so many mountain puns over here. It just looks like really uphill task for Sri Lanka to stage a comeback, especially in this last 10 minutes. But even though it's 10 versus 11 men, call for offside there, but even though it's 10 versus 11 men here at the Colombo Racecourse Stadium, well, it looked like there seems to be no way back for the Lion Cubs in white. Mind you, they also substituted their goalkeeper as well, so they have, they are confident in their substitutions.
And I mean, Sri Lanka can use this man advantage to get a goal or a couple to make sure they don't lose in a very huge margin. They can keep it to 5-2 or a 5-1, which is quite respectable. But still, even with 10 men, you can see Nepal really bossing the position here. Almost looks like Sri Lanka, the team, with a man out here. Once again, Nepal trying to go on a counter here with 10 man. Still looking dangerous, Nepal here.
Yeah, the 10 men of Nepal do seem to be playing as if they were 13. Here's Nepal coming back for number 6. The 6th goal is inevitable, but with 10 men it'll be quite tricky to make it number 6. Ball played out onto the wing. It's number 7, Binod, looking for number 15, Unesh. Unesh takes a shot. It's wide. It's over the goal. And Mohammad Riaz can breathe a bit better. As you can see, the Sri Lankans are down and out. It hasn't been their day so far. Hasn't been their tournament really. They've only scored 1 goal to their name. The other coming off an own goal in the Maldives match. Is Nepal trying to boot in another attempt? Some of the Nepali players looking to be out of steam, but of course they can do that by understanding that they are 5 goals ahead. Foul there, and it's a yellow card for the number 6 of Nepal, Ashwin. Here we have a replay. Yep, Ashwin took out Mohammad Sadir, who was substituted in the first 35 minutes. Here's a cross attempted in, and it's an attempt, but unfortunately not on goal. It was fizzed in for Sri Lanka, and it was number 15. So you see here, Rizni Mohammed, who failed to control that shot. There might be 10 men down, but Nepal look to be playing with full intent here. It's as if they are a couple of goals down, but with that spirit, they still get a corner. Well, just below me, the Sri Lankan fans are staying back to watch their team until the end. Here's Nepal with another cross, headed towards goal. But it comes to nothing. But credit to where it is due. Sri Lankan fans staying on and supporting their team till the very end. Seem to be playing with 3 at the back, Nepal, despite them going 1 man down. Ball threaded through, but unfortunately not finding their number 9, Sijal Rai. Well, in terms of play in this second half, it does seem that Sri Lanka did do their homework in that first half. Despite conceding 1 goal, they seem to have done better. But in the grand scheme of things, Nepal have been such a dominant force, and it'll be interesting to see how they are handled by the Indians. The Indians, of course, watching this as we speak. Bibiano and his men watching this intently, but they might be saying, look here guys, it does not seem like we can take much from this except for the fact that Nepal have been playing well in this match, because maybe you can't equate Sri Lanka to the Indian side, and they'll just have to take it as it comes. Of course, the tactics will be laid out for this game. Maybe not the same tactics that they used on Friday's match. Here is foul by one of the Nepali players on the Sri Lankan midfielder. Stomp on the foot there on, I believe, Sadhu Katsara. Of course, Bibiano and his men won't be looking at this match and taking too many leaves out of this page, out of this chapter, though, in the book of the Under-17 SAFF Championship 2022. Well, what now here for Sri Lanka, you might ask? Well, they've shown what they are capable of, and it seems like South Asian contingent is a bit too strong for them when you take it in the grand scheme of things. They've faced Maldives, they faced Bangladesh, and now Nepal, and are going down with 10 goals scored against them, and just 2 goals, one of them being an own goal. Nepal, beg your pardon, was a yellow card issued here for Mohammad Mufaz. Mohammad Mufaz, of course, being that live wire in that first half. And like his other teammates not getting into the end of that Nepali goal. Here's Bino twisting and turning, and another goal, and it is 6. Let's talk about 6, baby, says Nepal, and it is their number 9, Sijal Rai, who puts the final nail in the Sri Lankan coffin, and it is good night to the Sri Lankan, says Nepal. Nepal 6, Sri Lanka 0. Could there be another nail in the coffin here? I did mention that the 6th goal could have been the final one. Sri Lanka really have themselves to blame in this tournament. They've not been at par, and confirmation of 3 added minutes. 3 long minutes for Sri Lanka. Here is number 17, Saroj, on the ball, going to the corner flag, trying some tricks and treats. But it was Sadhu Tatsaran having none of it. Nepal regroup. There's another shot. Shots flying in this evening's game. Nepali fans there would be the happier of the set of fans to see here. Anyone taking a shot, really. They're queuing up to take shots. Of course, when the score is 6-0, you would want to get your name on the score sheet as well. Ooh, risky stuff there by the Sri Lankan defense, as they have been doing this night. Well, it was Krishal who started this game in goal and had little to nothing to do in that first half and in the bit of the second half. But here is Rubin, who also has had little to nothing to do in this second half. Some good game time here for the substitute keeper. Nepal looking to make it maybe 7. Is number 20, wriggling, turning, and it almost was number 7 for Nepal, but it was offside to the Sri Lankans' liking. It is full time here. Lions might be kings of the jungle and elsewhere in Asia, but it transformed to conquerors of Everest. That was an uphill task. It's Nepal 6, Sri Lanka 0 at the end of 90 minutes. It is India versus Nepal in the final. Silky performance by the men in blue. And it'll be a replay of that group stage match between India and Nepal. Sri Lankans really have themselves to blame here. The boys in white not turning up at all in this game. And this tournament will be one to forget But a terrific performance. Take nothing away from that Nepali performance. Here we have a recap of the goals. Mohammad Ruhas making a mess of that, only for the captain, Prasan Laksam, to start and give the first of 6 goals to Nepal. And then it was number 18, Harish Raj, who curled it beautifully.